read about how Yosef interpreted the dreams of Paro, the king of Egypt, and immediately when the Sarah Mashkim, the wine steward, shared with Paro Yosef's capability of interpretation of dreams, immediately is rushed from the dungeon and is brought before Paro, and Paro says, I hear you have the ability to interpret dreams. Yosef immediately responds, Bilodoi, it's unrelated to me. Elokim yaneh shlom Paro. God will bring peace to Paro. Meaning, I am not the interpreter, I am only the conduit through which the interpretation comes about. And continuously, Yosef, when he explains the dreams, he says, Hashem is going to bring, Elokim's going to bring, Elokim's going to bring. I mean, here he's speaking to a pagan king, the monarch of the most powerful, advanced civilization in the world. Yosef says it as it is. Elokim, Bilodoi, Elokim yaneh shalom Paro. And after he offers the interpretation and the solution, how to deal with the issue, the years of plenty, the years of famine, how to store the wheat, and how it should be set aside, and who to appoint, and what. It found favor in the eyes of Paro and the eyes of his servants. Have we ever seen a person, we're talking about a man who's the most advanced, powerful person in the world. We're talking about a statesman par excellence over here. He's seen it all. He's seen every level of genius. He says, have we ever seen a person, Asher Ruach HaLekimbo, the Spirit of God, a man like this we've ever seen. He's seen every theology, every religion. A person with this dimension of capability says, have you ever seen anything like it? V'yomar Paro el Yosef, Achre hodia Elokim oscho. After God informed you, as close as all that you've shared with us, ein novam v'chochem kamocha. There's no more insightful, no wiser person than you. What does one thing have to do with another? After God has shown you and explained everything to you, you are the wisest, the most profound genius. Nothing is the equivalent of you. We find, the Gemara in Barachos tells us regarding the building the Mishkan, whoever was involved in building the Mishkan, he was endowed with Ruach HaKodesh, with a divine spirit, exactly how to be the most expert craftsman in his particular area of expertise. And the Torah says, Ubelev kol chacham lev nosan chochma. In the heart of every heart that contained chochma, he gave chochma. He gave wisdom to the heart that contained wisdom. So the question is, so where does it begin? So which heart has wisdom, which heart doesn't have wisdom? In the heart of every heart that has wisdom, God gave wisdom exactly to be the expert in his area of craftsmanship. So Rechaim Volozhin explains, the Pasuk tells us, Reishis Chochma Yiras Hashem, that the prerequisite or the beginning of Chochma is Yiras Hashem. Hakol b'dei Shemaim chutz miYirus Shamayim. Everything's predestined except Yiras Shamayim. One, to believe in God, to fear God, to revere God, that's one's choice. So the heart, the person who had Yiras Shamayim, to the degree that he had Yiras Shamayim, that's the degree that he was endowed with this wisdom, this ability to be able to be that expert craftsman in his area of craftsmanship. That's what it's all about. So again, but why? What's the whole idea? The whole concept of limitation is only within the physical context. Outside of physical context, you're unlimited. You're not limited. There's no limitation. So into which heart does Hashem bring wisdom? The heart that contains wisdom, which is Yiras Shamayim, which is something which is outside of the realm of physicality. The person who made the choice to fear Hashem, to revere Hashem, God gives wisdom. The wisdom Hashem gives is something which surpasses any boundaries, any limitation. So Yosef, being who had the Ruach Elokim, he had the Spirit of God. He was the ultimate Yiras Shamayim. He's Yosef HaTzadik. Therefore, what level of capability, what's his capacity and genius? It's beyond anything that exists. Because his dimension of Yiras Shamayim, of Tzadik, it's not to be equaled. Therefore, Paro says, and Paro understands this, it's something unheard of. You live in a pagan world, and all you speak about is godliness and something which is monotheistic. Therefore, he understands, as a result of that, ein novel chochem kamocha. Therefore, there's no limitation. There's no wiser person than yourself. We find that when Yosef behaved as the viceroy, not telling his brothers who he was, and he took Shimon as a hostage because he wanted the brothers should bring Binyamin back to Egypt. He says, Yirei Elokim Anochi. He says, I'm a person who fears God. That's the way he identifies himself. I fear God. I fear God, and therefore they heard so much about him. I mean, a man who's a pagan, they understood he's the one who created the whole setting here to save Egypt. He knew things which it was impossible to know, and they believed he was a heathen. How does a man know all this? He knows their families. He knows everything. There's nothing he doesn't know. What's it all about? He says, Yirei Elokim Anochi. I fear God. The moment, despite being a pagan, living in a pagan land, and being position-wise right under the king, viceroy of Egypt, the one who oversees life and death and provides life, he should say, Yirei Elokim Anochi. I am a man who fears God. If that's the case, they understood immediately. He surpasses, he's not limited, he transcends any limitation. As a result of this, when Paro saw his level of genius, which he's never seen before, he said, there is no person, because you have Ruach Elokim, there's no one as wise and as expansive as you are.